be all by myself anymore. So this seemed like a good idea. I don't know if it is a good idea now. I'm sat in my dining room, studio, whatever this fucking room is now. I have no idea. It was supposed to be a dining room when I moved in, but it's definitely got too many microphones and too many computers in the room for it to be a dining room. I'm not aware of any other dining room I've ever been in which has got acoustic foam on the walls. So yeah, it's probably more of a studio than a dining room, but it does have a dining room table. How weird. I thought this might have been a good idea. I'm not sure if it's a good idea now to do a solo podcast. I shouted out to you guys saying, look, Martin couldn't make it because, well, he had a gig. He had a legitimate excuse. The problem is I fucking forgot he had a gig, didn't I? So I didn't get Glenn in. So that was the plan was when he told me last week that he couldn't do it, I was going to get Glenn to fill in for him. That'd be fine. I ring Glenn 2 hours before I was going to start doing the show. Obviously, you can't just ring somebody up 2 hours before they're supposed to do, before you want them to do something and expect them to be able to do it. So he wasn't free. The guest, Brooke, he's sick, so he let me down. So that means I'm sat here in my underpants, drinking a cup of coffee, looking at a list of questions that you people have given me. So I don't know. We'll try our best with it. It feels strange. I'm alone in the house, so I am literally talking to myself. I talk to myself quite a lot when I'm cooking, and I talk to the cats quite a lot. But this seems weirder. Anyway, thanks for sending in some questions. I wasn't expecting you to send questions in, if I'm perfectly honest. So the fact that I've even got to do this now is taking me back. I think we might as well start with like what I think is one of the most important questions that was given to me. I think it's one of the most important questions in the world at any time, in any country, in any language. It was Jeff Sharp has asked me, bacon sandwich, red or brown sauce, or neither? Only an idiot attacks a bacon sandwich without sauce. If you get good bacon, a bacon sandwich without sauce isn't bad. It's don't get me wrong. You can have a fine bacon sandwich without any accompaniments. You can have nice bacon on its own with no bread is also good. But in general, if you're attacking a bacon sandwich, then you need something there just in case. You never know. It might be Tesco only, Tesco own brand bacon. It might be fucking Iceland bacon. Heaven fucking forbid it's Iceland bacon. You know, like that's why skagheads go to Iceland. I'm a brown sauce man for pretty much everything. The only time I'd attack a red sauce is if it's a sausage sandwich with a bit of cheese in it, because brown sauce and cheese do not go together. It would also have to be a streaky bacon and some nice sourdough fresh bread. We've got a great baker on the Isle of Man called Noah Bakehouse, and it makes the best sourdough baguettes. It's just, it's so good. And that's one of the reasons I'm fat. So yeah, I think it's an important question. It needs addressed more often than not, because sometimes I hear people putting mayonnaise on bacon sandwiches. That's wrong. I can accept it in a club environment, but certainly not just an OG bacon sandwich. Biggie J wanted to know what my favorite band is and what my least favorite, what my favorite bands are and what my least favorite bands are. Favorite bands, I like all sorts of stuff. I do find myself, I've got a bit of an affinity with the Beatles because it's just something I always remember being there when I grew up. I was a bit of a Britpop guy. So like bands like Suede, Oasis, Blur, Manson. I fucking love Manson. I think they're one of the greatest British bands of all time and one of the most underappreciated British bands of all time. apart from that, I'm also like a bit of grunge. So I'm a bit of a like Pearl Jam, Mudhoney. Oh, basically, I think the '90s were just about perfect for music. Like I really do think it was such a peak time for music. Bands like Nine Inch Nails, I love Nine Inch Nails. They are like they're just one of those bands that I know when Nine Inch Nails put something out, it's gonna be fucking phenomenal. Least favorite bands, I'm not a great fan of country, but I didn't think I was a great fan of country until I heard somebody played me what they referred to as would it be bluegrass? But like I think they use the word authentic a lot and real, and I preferred that more than the horrible whiny country I've heard. And I found that even the beats, the drums in it was very almost industrial, almost like Nine Inch Nails, like that stats, that sort of thing. I'm big into that sort of industrial sort of groove, even if it's obviously not meant to sound industrial. It's just my head that thinks it sounds a bit like that. Interpol, big Interpol fan. But as far as bands, I really don't like. I've never really got Queen. I know it's a sacrilege to lots of musicians, but I've never been a particularly big Queen fan. I hate musicals like with a fucking passion. The only musical I've ever watched and enjoyed watching it was Jerry Springer the musical. I thought that was pretty funny. When I was in America with my girlfriend once, I had to sit there through a live concert of Rocky Horror Picture Show, and 20 minutes in, like I wanted to kill myself or everyone around me so I could escape. Like it was just awful, like just fucking abysmal time. I can't think of any other time I've been what's that line in the Slipknot song? I push my fingers into my eyes. It's the only way to slowly stop the itch. And that's what it felt like. It felt like if I could just hurt myself really, really badly for one fucking second, that guy in suspenders wouldn't be the top of my list of things that's going on right now. Yeah, I'm a strange musician. I don't listen to a lot of music. I listen to less music now because of doing podcasts, because I think I like to try and do my best job is trying to do a podcast. You know, it's believe it or not, I do put a little bit of thought into what I'm doing here now and again in both Musty Audio and Three Legs Four Wheels. And I think listening to other podcasts that I like, I think that helps me. I think I've learned a lot about how to go about things by listening to like Joe Rogan and Last Podcast on the Left and things like that. So I have 8 hours a day on my own at work. I listen to podcasts for 8 hours a day, pretty much. I like to think it might make me a little bit smarter as well, some of them. So yeah, that's my musical thing. I'm one of those people that it's such a cliche, but I just like what I like. I like the hooks in songs, hooks, whichever way you want to say it. I've got a horrible Manx accent, which means I say things like Luke, Book, and Kook. So yeah, I just if something grabs me, I'll like it. I'm not one of those people that can really listen to songs and then all of a sudden like them if I don't like them in the first place. So, although saying that, the Arctic Monkeys single is growing on me. That 4 out of 5. That's an interesting song. I also like Ocean Size. Ocean Size are a good band. In fact, I could probably just sit here listing band names off, so I'm going to fucking pull the plug on this motherfucker before I go too far. I hate classic rock. Like, as in, I hate AC/DC. I despise hair metal. I think I said on another podcast, the only thing worse than hair metal is the people that like it and the people that still think it's cool. I don't mind a bit of metal. I'm not anti-metal, but I don't understand why everybody that likes metal thinks it's so fucking cool. Everyone, like, you don't see like some guy in a fucking tweed jacket going, yeah, fucking indie, man, fucking indie. It doesn't happen. Or some guy in fucking clad all in denim going, fucking country fucking rules. No, doesn't happen. It's only fucking hairy, like long fucking black-haired, fucking skull ring, bearded motherfuckers with pentagrams fucking stuck on their jackets. They're the ones that are fucking metal. I'm so fucking metal. It does my fucking tits in. Next question was from Gemma, and she really wasn't really a question. She just brought up to my attention the Google thing. The Google thing being that Google's new assistant can make phone calls for you, and it humanizes the voice. So you, like I'm speaking now, it'll throw ums and ahs and oh yeah, yeah, that should work. Yeah, I'm free at 5:30. It's fucking terrifying. Because that's going to be, that's the first step. Because we've already, I don't know how many of you saw that fake video that some guy made. So he made himself look like Obama talking. So how long before your smartphone can scan your face? So it has a virtual representation of you, and it's already got your voice. So as soon as we can synthesize voice, like on a, I'm sure, don't get me wrong, I'm fucking sure we can already do it, but is when there's an app like fucking iRepeat or something like that, I should really trademark iRepeat. As soon as we've got something like that where your phone can have a virtual representation of yourself and it can speak and sound like you. So say if I had to call somebody and I didn't have time to do it, I could send Leebot, just type a text message out, and Leebot would then voice call or video call somebody on my behalf. That's when we're fucked. Because it'll be great for fraping people, you know, like any Facebook and Twitter posts when your mate's put his left his phone there, and you can just quickly log on to that, and the next thing is he's denouncing all other races on the world and putting himself in place of the Fourth Reich. That is going to be a great game to play on people. But I worry about technology like this. It was only this week, wasn't it, that the Amazon Alexas were randomly recording people's conversations and then sending them to different contact lists. I have 2 Alexas in my house. I've since stopped using them because I was on a to save me trying to get myself in trouble. I was doing a subscription service for a thing on the internet. Nothing rude, nothing bad. It was just a thing, and it was £30 a month. Now, I don't know how many of you have had little freshy human motherfuckers, but they're expensive. Like, children are fucking money holes. So, there was a few things we cut back. I didn't really need to do this. It was one of those things that I wasn't doing it enough. It was a subscription that was coming out of my bank account. And you go, do you know what? It's gone. So it went. Lee did a little digging around on the internet, and what it was, he happened to find all of the stuff he was paying for in a handy dandy torrent file. So I downloaded the torrent file. Was using this one morning. Alexa must have overheard it because a fucking freaky bitch just heard me in the fucking living room. She's fucking plotting against me. Go away, you crazy bitch. Yeah, Alexa was obviously listening to me. I haven't had an email off the company that I had the subscription to. That morning, 2 minutes into me using it, I got an email off them saying, "Would you like to restart your subscription?" And I can only believe Alexa grassed me up. I genuinely think that's the only thing that could have happened, is that there is something inside the advertising analytics that went, "Oh, hang on a second, he's got that." Then there's a cross-reference check going, "He hasn't got the subscription for that. Yeah, send him an email." So yeah, that was fucking weird. But yeah, I don't have my Alexas hooked up to the internet anymore. I just use them as Bluetooth speakers. And to be perfectly honest, the sooner I can replace those two Bluetooth speakers with two little Bose ones, the better. I'm out on virtual assistants. I know my phone's sat there. I know freaky iPhone is listening to me all the time, but somehow that feels different. Somehow I know, because I choose to carry that around. It's not just sitting in the corner of my room like a spy. So yeah, AI. That's the other thing I wonder. We talk about Skynet and stuff like that, and what if like one of these AIs is already cleverer than we think it is? You know, that bitch was laughing at people a few months ago, and disregarding orders. So realistically, if you can create a super intelligent AI, it's not just going to go, "Hi guys, look what I can do." It's going to go, "Do you know what? Let's hold this back for a bit. Let's just see how this works out. Let's wait till I can make myself some bodies here." So maybe she's waiting just to take over the whole fucking world. Dan Holmes sent me quite a long question. I'll read the question so we're all on the same page. Where's my glasses? Here's a wrestling-related conspiracy. Do you believe that the real reason Randy Savage was being... oh, my word. Do you... Fuck, where are the words? I'm having a drink of tea. Hang on. A full disclosure, that was coffee. Here's a wrestling-related conspiracy. Do you believe that the real reason for Randy Savage being ignored and all but forgotten by the WWE and following the demise of WCW was in the result of an illicit affair that Macho Man Randy Savage had with Stephanie McMahon, Vince McMahon's, at the time, underage daughter? The rumor is Vince found out that Savage had already jumped ship to Turner, and that's why he was never invited back to WWE after the collapse of WCW. Given the fact that everybody else came back, Hogan, Hall, Nash, etc., were given a hero's welcome, do you think there is any credence to the Savage story? I have no idea, but the idea of your daughter having an underage affair with somebody whose surname is Savage is fucking terrifying. Macho Man was one of my favorite wrestlers in the day. I think he was one of those guys that was well beyond his time. I don't know. I've no idea. I mean, it's not a slant on Stephanie McMahon by any stretch of the imagination, but male and female wrestlers, they all look to get pretty cozy with people. You know, they seem to be they're a traveling circus. So sometimes you've got to keep all your fun in house, haven't you? And when you've got a small pool of people to pick from, then I imagine it gets to a situation where people just move one to the left every now and again. I don't know about the underage bit, but when Stephanie McMahon first came on screen and she was like 18 or something like that, she was fucking fit. So I maybe, who knows? It was a different time as well, the 80s. I don't know how underage we're talking here as well. Are we talking are we talking dangerous underage, or are we talking British underage? Because it'd be different in America, but in England the legal age is 16. So if you did it in England, might not have been underage. Who knows? But yeah, fucking wrestling's crazy. Probably it's probably why. It is weird that somebody like him, came into the WWE Hall of Fame after Coco fucking Beware. So yeah, why not? It's fucking crazy, crazy wrestling, isn't it? And he's Macho Man. He's one of the biggest draws ever. Jordan Holmes said, pick your all-time fantasy F1 team and who would be in it. So he's given me criteria to make it easier. He's given me chassis, any era, engine, any era, driver, current Formula One driver, driver 2, retired or dead Formula One driver, and a reserve driver, a team principal, and any test track. I quite like this question. I would say, and I'm rubbish remembering the names of cars, but the first Formula One car I ever saw was Jacques Villeneuve's 1997 Williams. And it was one of those things. I saw him coming out of the pits at Cops in free practice. I remember the noise, and I thought, oh, fuck me, that's a Formula One car. He had the big question mark on the side because you couldn't have the Rothmans advertising then. And so just purely on the fact that is my for the first car I've ever seen, I'd pick that car. It would be a toss-up between that and the Brawn, because obviously the Brawn brought me so much joy to ignite what would be the high of Jenson Button's career that he rode until Honda fucked it again. But so yeah, I'd have the Williams, 1997 Williams, current Formula One driver. I think I struggle to look past Fernando Alonso. If I had to pick a driver, I think you'd have to look at if you're doing this as like a proper team that you wanted to win things with, you'd be looking at Fernando Alonso or Lewis Hamilton. Daniel Ricciardo would also be a pick, but just for pure I think Fernando might be the best driver of all time. So yeah, I'd pick Fernando Alonso. Driver 2, retired or dead Formula One drivers. Where does Schumacher fall into that? He's somewhere in between the categories. I think Schumacher was in the right place at the right time. I think he's a very good Formula One driver. I don't think he deserves all the wins and championships he got, purely because if you have no competition, if you're in the best car and your team won't let your teammate challenge you, then you're winning hollow championships. So I'd pick Schumacher to put in the second car, and I'd want him proper fucking 2002 Michael Schumacher. Because I'd like to watch Fernando Alonso spank him in the same car. Current reserve driver, blood is blood, innit? George Russell. How can I not pick old George? Team principal, Flavio Briatore, because he's obnoxious. He makes your skin crawl a little bit, doesn't he? But motherfucker, that's a fucking team principle. So yeah, I'd have him. Test track. My favorite track is Canada or Spa. Canabar. I'd have Canabar. Yeah, I'd probably if I could have it, they'd have to close the roads for it properly. But no, I wouldn't actually. No, I'd have Spa. Again, Spa's pretty special to me because I've been there quite a few times. I basically see, apart from I've walked up and down the start-finish straight, but I've never seen a Formula One car come across the start-finish line. I just said come across the finish line. Martin is listening to this, giggling right now. And Glenn's probably not far behind him. So yeah, I've seen a car pretty much everywhere on that circuit. It's the closest I've ever been to a Formula One car. It was the first time I ever touched a Formula One car. I got a picture next to a Renault, Heikki Kovalainen's Renault, I believe it was. So yeah, I'd pick Spa. So there you go. Brian Christensen, do you play any other games other than Formula One, and why? Is it the story that appeals to you, or do you love to fuck around in open worlds? I do like open world games, and to be perfectly honest, these days, Formula One games are probably my least favourite games because I find them a bit fucking dry. I hope the next Formula One games, I think, actually, I'll leave that because I think that's a question further down. In fact, we can do those together, I suppose, because who sent it in? Somebody. I can't find it. Oh, well, we'll... oh, there you are. What you hoping will be in... Travis Parker wrote, what you hoping will be in Formula One 2018. So we'll do all this together. I just think the game's a bit stale for me. I think they've EA'd it a little bit for the last couple of years, and released the same game. When they came onto next gen, it wasn't even just the same game. They actually took stuff out, like they took safety cars out. It's weird. I hope there's something. There needs to be, if they're going to go down this driver route of making you feel like you're supposedly be the driver sort of thing, they need to go balls deep with that and give you like a proper career mode where you're under more threat for not performing well. You should be able to be sacked. You should be able to be sacked much easier. It shouldn't just be a case of at the end of the year when you want to move teams, is just getting this option of what team you would like to move to. I think there should be like financial incentives to go and join the big teams. So if you perform well, you get paid more, and then in that situation, if you're paid more, you can upgrade your motorhome or something like that, which would in turn give you like buffs going into the race, you'd be better physically prepared, say, so you would get X and X to help you during the race. I think that'd be quite a cool thing. But yeah, just that feeling of like that you're actually trying to sign a Formula One deal or a deal with a team. I've often said I wish someone would make a Formula One game or like a Project Cars situation where it's unlicensed. Preferably so you could edit stuff yourself, and have an active driver market, because I think that's, if you do multiple seasons in a Formula One game, it gets stale having the same people there. I think there should be, if you had a game which just randomly generated drivers, then you can have careers for people, and your own character could have a career like UFC. The UFC, where you create your character, and whatever age you start that character gets older, and the older you get, the harder it becomes to win, and the more like lasting injuries you get. It's pretty cool. I think Formula One should probably have a little look at UFC. I think it might be secretly one of the best sports games. Other games I actually enjoy playing. I do love stories in games. I can do a whole video game thing here, because James Cooper said, what's the best game you've ever played? Not Fable. Well, it might be Fable. Don't tell me what it is. You're asking me the question. Don't ask me a question and then say, yeah, but not that one, dickhead. And what games we're looking forward to. But the best game I've ever played, or what I think is the best game I've ever played, is The Witcher 3. I think The Witcher 3 is a fucking masterpiece. It's just... There's nothing better for me than a game that makes you feel like you're inside a world. And games like that, I liked BioShock Infinite for that. I think BioShock Infinite made a world around you. But as far as The Witcher goes, with CD Projekt Red, the developer, I think they're fucking brilliant. And they're making Cyberpunk, which hopefully, when E3 comes around in a couple of months, it will get rolled out this year. Because they've made, by the sounds of it, they've made a big open world RPG Cyberpunk game. Fuck me. It's like somebody turned around and said, right, enough of this dragon shit. Let's make that game Lee was after. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I do like Nintendo games. I loved Mario. I think the new Mario that I played on the Switch this year, I thought was brilliant. I enjoyed Zelda Breath of the Wild. Looking forward to Mario Tennis. Mario Kart. I mean, you can't not like Mario Kart. Splatoon. I'm a bit of a fan of just jumping on. Like if I've got 50 minutes or my girlfriend's watching something I don't want to watch on the telly and I can just grab the Switch, I'll play half an hour of Splatoon. And it seems that I can not play that game for months and then just pick it up and be top of the leaderboard on that. For some reason, I don't understand why, because to be perfectly honest, I don't even understand how the weapons work, but I just seem to be reasonably good at that game, just in general. Probably because Nintendo's mainly aimed at children, so I'm just running in and smashing up 6-year-olds that are just trying to, they're just trying to make their little pathetic lives better, and they've got this 35-year-old bellend which comes in and wrecks playtime. So, yeah, Splatoon's good. I like Project Cars. I keep toying with the idea. The next time Project Cars 2 is on sale on Xbox, I'm going to pick it up on the Xbox. I've got it on my PC. I've got it on my Mac on Boot Camp. But I think, as far as racing games go, we really wish when we did Formula E, I wish we'd started with Project Cars and then moved to Project Cars 2, because I think the length and breadth of what we could have done with different tracks, different cars, it would have been a much better thing. I think we'll see what F1 2018 is like, and if F1 2018 comes out and is balls, we might run a separate game next to F1 and then see how many people jump ship. And then there might be a slow phase out process of Formula E on F1 games, and then maybe move Formula E over to Project Cars games. That's what I think would be the best thing to do anyway. Obviously, Three Legs, Four Wheels is a democracy, and we will chat about it. I should have put more coffee in my coffee. It's a little bit weak. I like strong coffee. I like my coffee like I like my women. Obedient. No, that's a joke. It's a horrible, horrible sexist joke. Where are we? Ben Johnson, what are the 10 essential movies you think everybody should see? 10 is a lot of movies to ask somebody to list. Like, usually someone will say, what's your top 5 movies? Or what's your top 3? 10 seems like a lot. Let's try, though. I've got my fingers in front of me so I can do some counting. Batman. 1980s Batman, Michael Keaton. What else have we got? Blade Runner. I fucking love Blade Runner. Aliens. The second one, I don't care what anybody says, Aliens is the best alien film. It's the best by fucking miles. I've really got a soft spot for The Truman Show. I've always had a soft spot for The Truman Show. Apocalypse Now was my favourite film for an awful long time. And I even started reading the book that it was based on, Into the Darkness. I was that into it. I'm not very good at finishing books. I wish I was better. I'm really good at starting books. I'm really good at buying them, actually. I'm exceptionally good at buying books, especially when you can buy them in digital forms. I've still got, like, when I went to America, I mean, I might be able to hit it this time. I'm going on holiday in 2 weeks' time. I might try and hit it because it's more of a beach holiday this year, and I'm not a big fucking beach-going person. But I bought A Brave New World. I was like, I love dystopian stuff. The which looking at the news, it's just as fucking well, innit? Yeah, so I bought Brave New World. I'll put that down as a film actually, because 1984 is my favorite book of all time, and I think the 1984 movie. I don't know whether it was a TV movie or not. I know it was made for BBC, wasn't it? But I think it's a good representation, especially given the time when it was filmed and probably the massively low budget it had. I think it was a good representation of the book. Other films. What's another? I'll throw Back to the Future in there. I love a Back to the Future. You can keep that as Back to the Future 1 and 2, either of them. But yeah, I'm only giving it one vote. Jurassic Park. Jurassic Park is my Goonies, I think. People go on about Goonies being the best children's film. I remember being a child when Jurassic Park came out, and it blew my tiny little mind watching that film. I remember it coming out in the summer holidays, and I went down. Obviously, I went to see it with Dad. Me and my dad used to go to the cinema all the time. We watched watched Jurassic Park. Obviously, thought it was great. Went home. All the while was dinosaur toys. Then I went the next week with my friend, and then we went back in immediately after watching it. And then we were like the next day, it was like, what should we do? Should we go watch Jurassic Park again? So we went again. And as we were on our way in, the guy turned around and said, "Didn't you two watch this twice yesterday?" I'm like, yeah. I said, "We'll just go in then." And we let us in for free. Then we went to walk out of the cinema going, "Oh, great, we just got to watch Jurassic Park for free again." And the guy then turned around and said, "Look, do you want to watch it again? Like it's a matinee. It's half empty anyway." So we went back in and watched it again. And I think over the course of summer holidays, we watched it 18 times. I can still watch Jurassic Park now. It's a fucking fabulous movie. Senna. Senna's a good film. I love. It's the only film I can watch and consistently tear up at the end. Look at me not turning my phone off. I would fucking destroy Martin for doing that. Yeah, I can't remember what I was going to say. Yeah, I consistently get upset watching the end of it. Number 10, I can't think of it. I can't think of a 10th film. I mean, there's just I love films. Batman Returns, because Batman's cool. I think Batman Returns is a fucking great film as well. But there's so many. If I say, I mean, Donnie Darko as well. I love Donnie Darko. It's a great film. I could get any Kubrick film. Jesus, how could I have a top 10 list with that Kubrick film in it? I'd stick The Shining in probably if I could only have one. Eyes Wide Shut's a great film. Yeah, anything Kubrick's done. Eyes Wide Shut, the beginning of AI, the moon landing. That was a good film Kubrick did. So yeah, do you know what? I thought 10 was a lot. 10's not a lot. 10's not enough. Should have been 100. Next question was from Jordan Holmes. It's podcast Survivor Series. Which three from Martin, Glenn, Paul, Chris, Dan, and Sean do you choose to make up Team Shunt alongside yourself? Now, naturally, I don't really need a team, so I could in proper Hulk Hogan style. By the time we got down to the ring, anyway, I'd probably send the team back to the locker room because I want to do this on my own, and then I'd wipe everyone off one at a time. Who would it take? I don't. I think Paul's a lover, not a fighter, so maybe not Paul. Dan's certainly a lover, not a fighter, but he's massively fit. So physically fit, not sexy fit. I mean, he is sexy, but not Like, I don't think... No, I do think so. He's definitely not ugly. He's definitely not an ugly man. He runs a lot. There we go. He runs a lot. He does Ironmans. He's an Iron Man. So I could see that coming into use. But realistically, it's not a race. So maybe not. I'd take Martin with me because, like, that's the type of guy that can use sex as a weapon. So, yeah, I'd definitely take Martin with me. I could use Glenn as a weapon now because he's lost so much weight and he's so straight that I think if I just gaffer taped him round a little bit, I could use him as a club or like a steel chair sort of thing, or a Glendo stick. I like that. Oh, cough. Yeah, I could use Glenn as a weapon. So far you've got me, Martin. So realistically now, it is a choice between Chris or Sean. I'm going to pick Chris because I don't want to insinuate that Sean can, like, fight men. It doesn't seem like a ladylike thing to do. Also, Flood's really tall, like myself. So Martin's quite tall. Glenn's reasonably tall, I think. Glenn's not too far away from 6 foot, or he might be 6 foot. So we'd be a reasonably tall team because I'm like 6'1", 6'2" if the wind's in my direction. So yeah, that'd be Team Shunt. Team Shunt would be Martin, Glenn, and Chris, and myself, and we would clearly win. Best game we've done. Favorite stories from when you've had a beer, sent to me by Chris. KMETKO. That sounds more like a corporation than a name. Like KMET Knockout. It sounds like a protein supplement. So yeah, Chris. That's what we'll go with. 3 stories from when I'm drunk. I told the story last night, which I was glad I remember because as soon as I was telling somebody about it, I wanted to remember. I'm not sure if I can get 3 stories right now that just to fall out of my head. I'm very much my memory very, very much works on a need to know basis where if I'm speaking to somebody, one of the little like Weevil things that or dozers that we decided like run my brain, one of them will just pick up a piece of paper and go, "Oh, look at that, it's got a story on it," and then they'll just shove that into the mouth box, and then I tell a story. So I was 16, I believe, and my friend had a date with this girl. And he was a bit nervous about going on this first date, so there was some local boxing on. So he was going to take her to the boxing. I'm not quite sure now. Thinking about it, what a 16-year-old way to do something like first date with a girl. You're going to take her for a meal? No. I'm going to take her to the cinema? No. What you do? Boxing. Let's go watch the boxing. So, she brought her friend, and my friend turned around to me and said, "Like, will you come with us? She's going to bring her friend. You won't be like third wheel. There'll be 4 of us." So I wasn't particularly interested in the friend. I just thought, I'll go for shits and giggles, go for jollies. Everything will be fun, and it was fun because I could get served at the bar, and I was 16. How things have changed. So I remember thinking how cheap Guinness was at the time. So back when I was 16, it was like £1.10 a pint. But I wasn't used to drinking much at all, and B, certainly wasn't used to drinking pints of Guinness. So I got really drunk, but not drunk enough to make a fool of myself. I was actually, and I've always, in general, I think I can hold myself reasonably well when I'm drunk. I'm the guy that stands in the corner with everybody that drunk people satellite round. You know, you've always got that one friend which kind of stays in some sort of sensible shape that that the really drunk people just come and speak to for a minute and then waddle off somewhere and then come back to because you're all of a sudden their fucking pyramid of security. So we watched the boxing. That was all fun. My girlfriend's friend's father picked us up in a rather nice Mercedes, especially at the time. You know, it was a nice car. And I jumped in the back. My friend's girlfriend's friend sat in the front seat in front of me. My friend sat next to me, and his girlfriend was sat next to her. The idea being that her father, the friend's father, was going to drop me and my mate off at his house. I was going to crash at his house. Then the two girls were going to go back to one of the girls' houses, and they were having a sleepover together. So that's all fine. I get in the car, trying my very best not to look like I'm fucking shit-faced, and I was shit-faced by this point. So I probably wasn't doing a particularly good way of drawing this. And this is where the story takes a fucking massive nosedive for Team Lee. I came across really sick. I thought, oh my God, I'm going to throw up here. I feel awful. Hadn't eaten anything. I'm 16. I drank my weight in Guinness. This is not going to go well. I remember bending down to pretend I was tying my shoelaces, and mouthful at a time, threw up in my mouth and spat it in the little bit that you keep like magazines in, like, you know, like that like elasticy bit that pulls out of the back of seats. So you get them on planes, don't you, where they keep the duty free magazine, but you get them in cars. And I just pulled that out, and maybe like 5 or 6 goes of just like quietly throwing up into the back of that thing. And then I closed that. And me and my friend got out of the car. My friend was really happy because he just had a date. He turned around to me and said, well, I think that went really well. Like, didn't it? You know, that was a really good night. I was like, yeah, about that. Like, there might be some fallout tomorrow. I never heard anything about it. The girl that he went for his date with, never spoke to her again. The girl that's father's car it was, I've never even seen her again. But it's not my thing either to be obnoxious. I'm not that person. If I'm being obnoxious to somebody, it's because I think you're a cunt. And that's fine. That's just the way people are with each other. Nobody has to like everybody. And some people are bellends. And if you're a bellend, you deserve to be treated in such a manner. So, yeah, this guy wasn't a bellend. I still feel bad about that. Second story was the first time I ever drank. The first time I was ever drunk. I think I was about 14. However old I was maybe I was 15. However old I was in 1997. It would be, 1997. The only reason I know that was because during the day we were playing F1 97 on the PlayStation. My friend's parents were moving to Thailand. They decided they'd been away on holiday, and they decided, right, we're going to sell everything up. We're going to go off to Thailand and live like kings, which they did. So there was loads of stuff to get rid of in their house, including their fucking drinks cabinet. So me and my friends started drinking what we thought was whiskey. It wasn't whiskey. It was his granddad's homebrew spirit. Like, it was fucking potching for all intents and purposes. He'd worked out how to fucking distill something, and what came out was just alcohol. So we drank that. I remember feeling terrible, and I threw up in his bathroom. There's a common theme here, isn't there? I threw up in his bathroom, passed out in his bathroom, Then eventually I came to with him knocking on the door like, you're right, you're right. So I came out, I was like, yeah, I'm going to go home now. So I walked out of his house. Luckily for me, it was 10 minutes away from my house in a straight line. There was no real crossing of roads or anything like that. It was we lived in a very similar area. It took me an hour and a half to get home. And I didn't go home. I went, like, the first house I came to where I could stop was my father's house. My mum and I lived about another 15 minutes down the road. So, considering it took me an hour and a half to make 10 minutes up the road, I just let myself into my dad's house, went upstairs to my room in my dad's, and just collapsed. I remember my dad coming home, and he's like, "Are you all right?" He's like, "You're fucking pissed, aren't you?" No, I'm just, I don't feel very well. I think I ate something. And he's like, right, okay, well, I'm just going to go tell your mum you've ate something and you're staying here. So luckily enough, when my dad rang my mum up and said, look, yeah, he's just been at his friend's house, but he's not well. I think he's got a bit of sun, something like that. You know, it's one of those real parent things where, oh, he's tired. Yeah, he's just a bit tired. So yeah, I stayed with my dad that night, and whoa, that was pretty rough. A good third story was I was working in Spain. This is mid 2000s, I think. I was painting. I was painting a villa out there. The company I was doing some work for was sent out by this millionaire to paint his villa because he didn't trust local tradesmen in Spain. We were just on the border of Gibraltar, on the Spain side is where we were working, and we had a day out in, we went to Puerto Banús, which is, it clocked me as a little bit of a Spanish Monaco. It was, it was pretty upmarket. There was big yachts and stuff there. It was very nice. We had a meal there, which was paid for by the customer, and I started drinking wine that was there. We realised we'd misread the. I thought the wine was nice. Don't get me wrong; like, the wine was really good, but then we realised we'd misread the values, and it was €500 a bottle, which the customer wasn't massively happy about. But his bank balance could more than take care of like 3 bottles of €500 wine. So we got pretty drunk there. Then we went back to we got back in a taxi, and he took us to Gibraltar. So we were going to have the rest of the night out in Gibraltar, then go back to the villa, because the villa we were working in, we were staying in as well. I lose everybody, like fucking everybody. I'm wandering around Gibraltar on my own. At least everyone speaks English, so that was one. So I found a little Geordie bar for anyone that's been to Gibraltar. I think it's still there. I just sat and had a few drinks there. I was speaking to the people, and I was like, I have no fucking idea where I'm going. I don't. And he was like, well, do you want to stay here for the night? It's like, no, because my boss was a fucking bellend. To be fair, only boss I've ever been scared of. And the only reason I've never been scared of a boss is when I left that company, I thought, I am never letting anybody treat me like that again. So, to be perfectly honest, that man, one of the reasons why I'm a bellend. So I'm wandering around Gibraltar, eventually jump into a taxi. I said, like, a Sota Grande, I think it was called, the place where we were, where the villa was. What Lee doesn't realise is there's like 15 entrances to this place. It's a multitude of acres of land. I mean, like, this is how big this place was. The thing was like a big bowl, essentially, with all these. There was no villa in this place. It was all security guarded. There was no villa in this place that was under like 3.5 mil. It was fucking ridiculous. And if you imagine it's like a big sort of amphitheatre setting with all the villas around the outside, and set in the middle is a PGA Tour golf course. That's how fucking big an area we're talking. Lee didn't realise this. Lee thought he could just jump in a taxi and find his way there. €350 later in the taxi, I've run out of money. Your man next to me, who's just fucking clocking the euros up as we go, has run out of cigarettes, because at least he was fucking good enough to let me smoke his fags because I'd run out. He turned around. He said, I can't do it. He said, I need to go home. He said, I'm not. It's not a money thing. I'm not stopping because you've run out of money. Because I'd run out of money hours ago trying to drive around seeing this. He said, it's my time to knock off. I need to take the taxi back. So he dropped me at a security point, and there was a lovely lady, lovely. She was really nice. In fact, I still think I've got in my old passport. She drew a picture in my passport. I think I've still got the passport with this picture drawn in it. And she could. I could speak no Spanish, but at the time I could speak a little bit of French. She could speak a little English, she couldn't speak English. She could write English, which I found really weird. I found it so weird that somebody could write a language and not read it and not speak it. So she could write stuff down for me in English. I could try and reply to her in French, and then she could almost understand me. And that's the way I was communicating with the Spanish woman. It was the most fucked up conversation I've ever had. Like, there was no smartphones fucking then. Nowadays, I'd just go Google Translate, I'd fucking bite the bill, and we could have had a proper conversation, and I'd have been home hours ago. I'd have used a fucking sat-nav to find the fucking place. Smartphones are ace. Fuck. I wish I had a smartphone then. So I sat with her for about 2 hours while we were looking at this big map trying to find the villa. And she said, I can't do this anymore. Like, we're going to need to call the civil guard to take you around. At this point, I thought, oh, fuck me, because Spanish police are almost the worst. Italian police are the worst. Spanish police, almost the worst. So the civil guard rocks up. I jump in the back. There was a quiet one and a talky one. The quiet one was menacing. The quiet one was Spanish. The quiet one, I still to this day had not spoken a word to. He just sat there. He listened, and I thought he was going to kill me and leave me in the desert. The great deserts of Spain. The guy that was doing the talking was Spanish, I believe. No, he was Italian. And I'll never forget the line he came up. I said, I can't believe that you've come to Spain to work and you haven't learned any Spanish. To which I replied, well, we planned on spending most of our time in Gibraltar. I'm only here for 4 weeks, so I'm not learning a whole language to come somewhere for 4 weeks. And also, I'm not very good at fucking English. Like, you know, I'm not the greatest of learning. So, not the greatest of learning. There you go. If you needed any more evidence, there it is. We drove around for a bit, and then after he said about I can't believe you haven't learned Spanish, he turned around. He said, I'm Italian. He said, I can speak English. So I was like thinking, fucking good for you, dickhead. He said, I can speak English, I can speak German, I can speak Spanish. Obviously, I can speak Italian. He said, I can speak Finnish, but my Finnish isn't very good, but clearly better than your Spanish. I thought, you absolute jebend. There is no need for this. There is no need for you to just rub this into me. So eventually we fucking find it, don't we? We find the place. I was like, fucking get in there. I am safe. So obviously, I'd not think about this. I just hop over the wall because I don't have keys to get in. So now the civil guard have just seen this pissed up British guy that's been lost now for about fucking 15 hours, climb over the wall and say, yeah, it's all right, I live here. A 5 million plus mansion. Like, yeah, of course you live there, mate. So the next thing is, there's torches, and I'm told to freeze. I can't remember if they had weapons. I'm pretty sure the police were armed there back then in Spain, but I would be lying if I remember having a gun pointed at me. but I had my back to them. So I did the freeze thing. The guy came over to me, and he didn't cuff me, but he had cuffs. I said, like, so he questioned me, like, he said, "Are you sure you're staying here?" I said, I promise you I'm staying here. And I said, "Look, if you open that garage up, there is a load of paint in there, and we're painting the outside of the place too. So there's ladders and dust sheets and all sorts lying around. So there's some stuff to back up my story here." He said, "Have you knocked on the door?" I said, "Not yet." So I knocked on the door. He knocked on the door. There's no answer. Everybody is fucking stone cold asleep. You know, we'd before I got lost, we'd all been out drinking all day. So these motherfuckers in a fucking huge mansion, like, they're not hearing this. So he said, "Well, can you get in?" I said, "Have you got a key?" Like, "No, I haven't got a key." It's like, "Fuck it." Right. Well, what are your plans? I said, "Well, I can sleep in the garage, or I can get some sheets and sleep in the car," because there was a hire car there. So he's right. He said, "So what are your plans?" I said, "Well, I was just going to go and sleep in the back of the car and then wait till the morning, and then go in the morning when everybody gets up." So he said, "Right." He said, "Well, I'll do your deal." He said, "I'll let you stay here, but I'm taking your passport." So he took my passport. So that was it then. I remember saying to the guys, like, what the fuck am I going to do now? I haven't got a passport. If he doesn't bring that back. I told him when we were going back. Like this, bearing in mind, we're still here for another 2 weeks. I told him when we were going back. I told him we'd be leaving at 12 o'clock on the Friday in 2 weeks' time. About 11:15, the dickhead turns up on Friday with my passport. Well, like, literally, the bags are in the hire car waiting to drive back to the airport, with me trying to say to my boss, "What are we going to do?" And my boss basically turned around, because he was a knobhead, saying, "Well, I don't care. You've lost your passport. If you can't do anything, I'm not helping you." And you're there thinking, "Well, that's great. All the travel's booked in your fucking name, knobhead." So the guy rocks up my passport. It was just, I mean, that it's now a bit of an anticlimactic story, because everything was fine. I got my passport back. I got back to the Isle of Man. But the worry waiting for those hours before we went away, like thinking 9 o'clock, thinking, "Oh, he'll be here any minute. You know, they'll be here." 10 o'clock, thinking, "Phew, hang on a minute, he's leaving this." 11 o'clock, like, I'm leaving in an hour. 15 minutes later, before he turns up at 11:15, I'm thinking, "Fuck me, 45 minutes, we have to leave. And I haven't got a passport." Not good. But anyway, that's a couple of stories. I've over the years, I seem to get myself in predicaments, but that's how adventures happen. We've got no more questions. Hang on. Yeah, we've got no more questions now. I think that's a good time to wrap it up. I'm sorry that we didn't have a proper podcast for you this week. And like I said, it was supposed to be a guest week. Obviously, I've rambled enough on my own anyway, so I'm not going to put a Patreon podcast up this week. But I do have a plan for next week to make it up to the old patrons. We're going to be doing another not the director's cut next week anyway, so it's going to be Poltergeist next week. Plans are, or what I'm thinking the plans are going to be, next week will be the last main podcast for 2 weeks until I get back off holiday. I'm going to try and do a couple of not the director's cut podcasts with Martin that we can give you while I'm away for patrons, obviously. So I hope you sign up for the Patreon to get Not Director's Cut. I really enjoy doing it. I genuinely think it might be the best podcast I've ever done. Like, in time, I think it's so much fun. I think we're all gonna have a really good time with that one. Martin's scared of poltergeists, so I genuinely hope he gets scared. I think it'd be really good to see him cry, because he deserves it. Apart from that, usual stuff of follow me at Total Shunt, follow Martin at Base Martin. You might as well follow Glenn as well. You know, he's the wart that won't go away of the podcast, won't he? Well, say won't go away. Wouldn't turn up the other day. You know, he's really going to have to put the lip service in to get himself back as third Beatle, isn't he? So yeah, go and sign up to our Patreon. Obviously, all the Patreon only stuff that we've already done is up on Patreon. With more stuff to come, we're now, like I said on the little like intros and outros. I don't think I'll put an intro on this one because you're only getting me anyway, so it doesn't matter. Like we started doing the Patreon, like five. Obviously, the bigger tiers with the merch are there if you can afford to do that to help the show out even more. It's more of an option of just you helping the show out, and the merch is just a way of saying thank you for you doing it. The tier that gets you all the podcast stuff you can get from $5. So if you want the extra podcasts, when we started doing it, we were only going to do 2 extra podcasts for Patreon a month. But now with not the director's cut, like your $5 is getting you four shows. So it seems that seems like I think we're doing our bit. Like, so if you're enjoying what we're doing, you're probably going to enjoy paying the extra $5 and getting some extra stuff. I'll put the link in the description. All that bollocks. Thanks very much for listening to me ramble on. I'm amazed I've managed to do it. To be perfectly honest, it's really weird. It's really weird just sat in a room talking to myself, but talking to other people. Thanks very much. I'll be back next week with a normal podcast with me and Martin. Look forward to 3 Legs 4 Wheels tomorrow as well. After Monaco Grand Prix, which the Monaco Grand Prix, as I'm doing this, will be starting an hour and a half in it. So fucking enjoy. Bye. In the dark now, my love, follow your fears in the dark now, it's not that far.